and welcome to Nite Line. I'm your host, Dante Thompson. We've got a wonderful live program for you tonight. And not only are we live, but our prayer partners are live, standing by to take your calls tonight. Go to the phones, 864-244-1616. We've had that number for 47 years now, so everybody should know it, 244-1616. Or you can go on our website, dubroadcasting.com. There's a prayer request form on there, and you can go on Facebook and submit your prayer requests on there, because there's people watching live on Facebook right now, and so just put it on there, and people will pray for you all over the place. So, but we got a great program tonight, one I've been looking forward to since last year. We've got the Salvation Army on, and I'm excited about this because they do so much that we never really hear about or pay attention to unless there's people out there ringing their bells and we throw money this time of year. But they aren't just collecting change to be collecting change. They do a lot. We're going to find out what all the Salvation Army does. Also tonight we have great music by Crown of Thorns, and they're really going to bless you. I heard them warming up, and I'm telling you, they are warmed up and ready to go. Speaking of music, starting December 30th, so the week after Christmas, we have an entire week of music, and it's going to be really good. No Christmas carols. Christmas will be over. It's just going to be really good music. Of course, that doesn't mean we're not going to have Christmas carols tonight. We better have Christmas. We're going to have Christmas music, right? Woo, I love it. All right, starting on Monday, December 30th, GTM Ministries is Gospel Through Music. We're going to have them on, and we've already recorded a lot of these, so I can tell you, I hosted that one, and the music was excellent. And then Tuesday, December 31st, we're going to have the Redback Hymnal reunion, and I hosted that one as well, and it is also wonderful. And then Wednesday, January 1st, Bev McCann and Friends. Guess what? I hosted that one too, and I promise you I don't sing in any of these, so they're going to be really good. And then Thursday, January 2nd, we got 2019 Worship Highlights with Mary and Tony, so it's kind of a throwback of all the good music that they've had on their program on Thursday night. Then Friday, to round up the week, Cornerstone and Cheryl Sumter and Divine 3 is going to be on, and you're going to be blessed that entire week. So mark that on your calendar, December 30th through January 3rd, last week and part of the year and first part of the week of the new year, so it's going to be really good, y'all. One more announcement, then we're going to go to music. Everybody loves Jack Van Impe. Jack Van Impe's been on television for years. He used to come on right after Down Home Gospel when I was hosting it. Then he retired. Well, he came back earlier this year, and he comes on Monday nights at 9:30. Well, Mr. Jack Van Impe and Rexella have decided to retire again, and I think this one's for good. He's I think he said 89 years old, something like that, and just the rigors of doing productions and keeping them current is kind of getting too much for him. So if you watch Dr. Jack Van Impe after Nite Line's on Monday night, you just got a couple of weeks left to enjoy him. He will be retiring after the first of the year. So we wish him so much luck and so many blessings. And his next endeavors, he's a wonderful guy, and I remember growing up and just hearing his words, and fun guy, smart guy. So we're going to miss you, sir. But anyway, let's go to some music. Enough of my rambling. Crown of Thorns is here to sing, and they're doing a wonderful job singing Once Upon a Christmas.
Once upon a Christmas, far away in Bethlehem, Mary, being great child, had no place to lay down. So Joseph found a stable in which Mary had her child. Once upon a Christmas was the birth of Jesus Christ. Once upon a Christmas, in a manger far away, a king was born. His palace was a manger filled with hay. His royal robe was swaddling cloth, a and the joyful news that he was born spread quickly far and wide. Once upon a Christmas was the birth of Jesus Christ. Once upon a Christmas, from the Far East wise men came with gold and myrrh and frankincense to praise the newborn King. Shepherds left their flocks and came to see and worship him. Once upon a Christmas, away in Bethlehem, and all the world rejoiced because the King was born at last. A Savior had been promised, now it had come to pass. And the joyful news that he was born spread quickly far and wide. Once upon a Christmas was the birth of Jesus Christ. And all the world rejoiced because the King was born at last. A Savior had been promised, now it had come to pass. And the joyful news that he was born spread quickly far and wide. Once upon a Christmas was the birth of Jesus Christ. Once upon a Christmas, far away in Bethlehem.
Alrighty, Crown of Thorns, and you can get their Christmas album. Go to their Facebook page. Is that the best way to get a hold of you guys? Crown of Thorns SC on Facebook. So check them out. They're going to be blessing us in music all night, and later in the program they're going to come over here and we're going to get to know them, see if they can talk as good as they sing. I think they can. So that's about all I'm good at is talking. I could just but singing, forget it. So, but I'm excited about tonight. We have Major Andrew Kelly for the Salvation Army. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you, Dante.
And Rachel Wilkes, and you are the I don't have to read this Community Relations and Development Director, and of 3 counties: Greenville, Pickens, and Oconee.
Yes, we
That's
both
pretty
cover
huge.
that. It's quite a big footprint,
Wow.
isn't
It
it?
is a big footprint,
Wow,
yes.
that's awesome. So, well, let's start with you, Major. I mean, last year, I think was the first time I had the Salvation Army on, and I learned so much, and it was so fascinating. Got to learn the history of it and just what you guys do, which is a lot more, again, than just ringing a bell and asking for money, you know?
Oh, yes.
But how long have you been with the Salvation Army?
I have actually grown up going to the Salvation Army Church. I've been a Salvation Army ordained minister for 35 years.
Wow.
And been here in Greenville for 5 months.
Wow,
But,
that's it. Where are you originally from then?
Well, originally I'm from upstate New York, but
Okay.
moved here from Austin, Texas,
Wow.
by way of Washington, D.C., and a lot of other places in
Yeah.
between. But I'm excited to finally get to Greenville.
Wow. Well, this is your best stop yet, you
Yes,
know, and
yes.
just stick around for a while. all
I'd
right?
like that,
The
yeah.
best is yet to come. So
I agree.
Well, the major last year, help me out with his name. It's been a
Major
year
Pete
ago.
Costas.
Yes, and he was a wonderful guy. He was similar to you. He kind of jumped around too, that I can remember. And now he's moved on up to Charlotte. Then,
That's
hasn't he?
correct.
So-
Yes, the Salvation Army moves the Salvation Army officers about every 3 to 5 years, depending on the need that they have in other locations.
Yeah.
And, so.
Well, what does it mean to be an ordained minister through the Salvation Army? Is this a denominational thing, or are y'all non-denominational? How does that work?
Well, the Salvation Army's doctrine is based very closely to the Methodist doctrine. Our founder, William Booth, was a Methodist minister, but he, at his time, he recognized that people of the streets were not welcome in the church. And so he felt very passionate about ministering to the people of the street. People of London at that time were really in very poor condition, and he knew that they needed Jesus.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to hear about that until they had their physical needs met.
Well, when you're hungry and you're wet and you're cold and you're all these things, it's hard to listen about, some Jew that died 2,000 years ago.
That's correct. Yeah.
You don't want to hear it. You want to get cold or warm. You want to get dry. You want to get fed.
Yes.
And that's where you guys step in. That's
Yes,
for sure.
and he coined the phrase soup, soap, and salvation. First, get their stomachs full, get them clean, and then you can talk about Jesus, because their basic needs had been taken care of at that point. So he started the Salvation Army mission at that point, and it became the Salvation Army that we know today.
And this was 100 years ago or more, wasn't it? How long?
About 1865, so it's 154 years ago.
Which, again, I learned that, and that just I had no idea.
Yes.
It was so fascinating.
And now we're in 130 countries around the
And I
world.
think 3 or 4 planets now, something
Yeah,
like that.
maybe.
That blew my mind too. How many? I think there's 170 something countries in the world right now, something like that. And y'all are just about got them all covered, which
Just
is
about.
huge. I had no idea. It's fascinating. Well, when you're growing up in the Salvation Army Church, and I'm sure you see guys in the uniform like you, and gals, they wear the uniform too.
yes.
It's so neat. Is that what drew you to it, or was it the work they were doing, or was it a certain individual in your life?
Actually, the experience that I had through the Salvation Army really drew me into it. My parents divorced when I was a teenager, and it was a very, very ugly divorce. My father was very abusive, but the Salvation Army was there to help not only me and my brother and sister, but my mother as well, go through the difficult times of that divorce. And we were at the church. We call it the Corps, CORPS. We were at the Corps almost every day, and they invested the leadership there invested themselves in our lives and helped us through those difficult times. And then I saw that God wanted me to do the same thing to help other people that were experiencing something similar to what I had experienced.
Yeah.
And so God called me to be a Salvation Army officer. And we have our own seminary, if you will. There's 4 in the United States, and I went to the one in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And I was commissioned and ordained in 1985, along with my wife. A couple, both people in the couple are ordained.
Cool.
And so we've been serving here in the 15 southeastern states for those 35 years.
Wow. Well, now, as a young child and your mother, did y'all go out seeking a church, or did the Army come to you guys? When I think, okay, I need to find a church, I think for First Baptist or, whatever it is. I don't think Salvation Army. Is it something that somebody came out to you guys, or did you just say, hey, let's go to Salvation Army and see what they got to offer?
Well, in my case, my mother and my father had both grown up going to the Salvation Army. And their parents had too. But there are other Salvation Army officers I've spoken with who have gone to a Sunday school for a giveaway or something, and then they became a part of the Salvation Army, or they went to the Girl Scouts, or we call them Girl Guards, or Sunbeams, that opportunity for kids, and then they would stay with the Salvation Army. And a lot of people have received help from the Salvation Army and then started going to the church as well. So there's a lot of different ways that people start coming to the Salvation Army.
Yeah. But to go to church there, you don't have to be homeless or, needing help. You got normal parishioners, like I'll say normal, everybody's normal, but you can have a home and have a family and just be a normal parishioner. Is that
Absolutely,
correct? Yeah.
yes. We have several people who've never been homeless that are a part of the Salvation Army, that just found the Salvation Army church and enjoyed being a part of the worship and the fellowship and just joined us.
I need to come visit you guys sometime. When's service times here in Greenville?
Oh, we have two locations. We have one down on Rutherford Street that is actually more of a street church that they start at 11 o'clock service. And then we have one over in our Croc Center over on Westfield that starts at 10:30.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I need to come visit you guys. Well, as a major and the area commander, I got that right.
Yes.
I looked and I thought I had it right.
That's
I got it
correct.
Right. That's cool. That sounds awesome. Area commander, you know. But what kind of responsibilities do you have?
Well, I have the responsibility of overseeing all of the work that the Salvation Army does in the Tri-County area.
Wow.
We have a service center in Pickens County, which is located in Easley. We have a service center in Oconee County, which is located in Seneca. And the two churches that I mentioned, the Croc Center, our drug and alcohol rehabilitation program, and family stores we have 6 family stores in the Tri-County area, and all the other work that we do in between, the social services work that is done on a daily basis. And I have the oversight of all that, making sure that we make budget, making sure that we are able to get everybody paid that are supposed to be paid, and are helping people as much as we possibly can.
Well, with the social side of it, with families, I mean, is that easy? I mean, of course, Salvation Army is established. It's been around 1865. Everybody knows it. But as a Christian organization, and y'all are a Christian organization.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that. Or they just think, well, maybe it was and now it's not. Y'all still are a Christian organization. Is it hard to work with the states and the different courts and stuff? Or is that easier for you guys to get in the...
It varies from one location to the other. It depends, of course, who the judge is or who is the person that's making all the decisions in the courts. But typically we are able to work together well with them. And we do not discriminate in any way for anybody that comes to us for help or for hiring, and whenever we have a position that they're qualified for. So we just do our best to meet the needs that come to us. There are times that we cannot help because we don't have the resources to go that far, but people will, matter of fact, today we had somebody came to us and asked about getting home for the holidays, and we helped them get a bus ticket so that they could be home for Christmas.
Man, y'all do it all. That's awesome.
And we try.
That's awesome. Well, what is one of the biggest needs that y'all have right now? You said if we have the resources, is it monetary needs or is it volunteers, or what's one of the bigger needs right now?
Well, definitely monetary needs is a big thing for us. We have recently been notified that some funding that we had relied upon is going by the wayside as of January the 1st, and that's $90,000 that we're losing.
And they just told you this, huh?
They told us this last month. And we're trying to find the way that we're going to be able to cover for that, because we don't want to cut services. We can't afford to with all the people that are coming to us. And so the money that's coming in the kettles is going to help toward that, but people can give through the mail, online, and that sort of thing to help us have the funds that we need to meet the needs that come to us. We also could use people to volunteer, because more volunteers we have, the less we're having to spend on paying somebody to do the services provided, and the more help we can give because of the volunteers that help us. So those are two of our biggest needs, really, the monetary and the volunteers.
In what area would people be volunteering in?
We have a variety of opportunities in volunteering. We've got some people that will help serve the meals, some people that will help clean areas where the shelters that we have. Right now we have people that are out ringing the bells for us, but there's other projects that we can have people do with the landscaping or painting, or lots of different things that people can do for us. We have a group of volunteers that we have with us consistently that are our advisory board as well as our auxiliary, and Echelon is a younger group, and they're constantly looking for ways in which they can help raise money, they can help raise awareness, and they can do different projects. But we have other opportunities for people to sign up for as well.
Sounds like anybody that from top to bottom, I mean, anybody at any skill level, anything, could volunteer at the Salvation Army.
Absolutely.
I mean, from sweeping the floor to, everything. So, wow, that's wonderful. Well, now you mentioned the people, they ring the bells, and you see them all over the place now. And so those are volunteers then?
Some of them are, yes.
Wow.
We were just talking earlier about possibly next year doing as many locations as possible with volunteers, because that way the money will stretch even further.
Exactly. And folks, don't forsake these people. If you have change, give it to them. But not only that, but thank them for being out there, because what they're doing, hey, you might be watching and you might not be a Christian, but what the Salvation Army is doing not only furthers the kingdom of God, but it also benefits your community and my community and you guys' community. And so it's just a very, very good thing. So
thank you.
It's awesome. So, but that's what people, a lot of them associate you with this time of year is the kettle. And but they need to support year round, don't they?
We do work year round.
Yeah.
The kettle season.
Those same people, they need to support year round.
Oh yes, we
Come
do
on,
need
people.
that.
Let's support them.
We do need that.
So,
yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned the stores. Are those thrift stores that people can donate things to, or how does that work?
They can donate used goods there, and we sort through it, and we sell items that people will be interested in purchasing, and that helps to support the expenses for the drug and alcohol rehabilitation program that we have.
Which I want to talk about in a minute, but for the last, let's see, this is 2019, I don't know, since 1980, so 38 years ago, because we didn't this year. We at Dub Broadcasting here has been doing a missions project, Christmas mission project to the Appalachian Mountains, where it's viewer supported. We have a huge Christmas party, as many as 4,000, 5,000 showed up before. We give away toys and clothes and blankets and stuff like that.
Wonderful.
This year, we didn't do it. And so we've had a lot of people showing up here wanting to donate. In fact, if you were right where you parked, I saw you went, that building right there, that was our missions building, and we used it kind of like a Goodwill sorting and stuff like that, I say all that to say this. Of course, most of the viewers by now know we aren't doing it this year, because if we would have done it, it would have been last weekend. But people are still showing up wanting to bring things. And we having to tell them, we'll take it here, take it there. They can bring it to you guys. That was a long way to say they can bring it to you guys. So, and I know y'all got a store right there on Rutherford Street, right near Pig Hollis and Rutherford Street, across from the Mercy Center, right?
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, that's one of the that's the biggest one in Greenville, I guess. Or?
Yes, that's our biggest one.
Excellent. Well, cool. Well, let's take a break for a song. When we come back, we're going to talk to Rachel, because I know she's got a lot to talk about too, and I want to find out more about the drug and alcohol, because I really associate you in my mind like you guys do a lot of drug and alcohol, a lot of homeless ministries. And is that one of the biggest avenues of ministry, or is it just everything at this point?
Homeless is really our biggest ministry opportunities, and most of the locations that we're at. But we have the opportunity here to do the drug and alcohol rehabilitation as well.
Excellent. Well, we're going to find out more about that when we come back from a song by Crown of Thorns, and they're going to be singing Glory, Glory.
Desert wind was bitter cold the night she had the tiny babe. It was just as the angels told, the Son of God had made his way. They used the star as a guiding star. Shepherds walked to greet their king, and wise men had gathered too, as the angels began to sing. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Christ child is born today. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Give him all your praise. at the child warm that night, holding him against her side. Joseph gazed at his family with a heart filled full of pride. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Christ's child is born today. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Give him all your praise. Give him all your praise.
All righty, Crown of Thorns is doing a great job, and it's so encouraging to see people with talent and using that talent for the Lord. Thank y'all so much for that. I wish I had an ounce of that talent, but I don't, or at least people would definitely not watch it on TV if I did. So anyway, we're going to continue our conversation with the Salvation Army, Major Andrew Kelly and Rachel Wilkes. Thank you so much for being here. Me and Major, we've just been,
I know.
You sitting over there
Become
so
close
quiet and so
friends.
patient. So, but now, before we went to the song, we were talking about how the bulk of, or a lot of what you guys do, drug and alcohol rehabilitation and homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys work in Greenville, Pickens, and Oconee counties. You know, I grew up here in Greenville, and I've seen the homeless kind of just in Greenville because that's where, you know, paying attention. And they fluctuate and stuff, and I know a couple of homeless people and whatnot. But is homeless a huge deal here, or is it on the retreat, or how does that work? I mean, is it doing all right, or?
Well, I feel like nationally, homelessness has become more of a hot topic of conversation. I think it's becoming visually just something that folks are seeing in their hometowns. The latest numbers for Greenville is we have about 3,600 that identify as being homeless.
In Greenville County?
In Greenville County, whether that be sleeping literally in the woods or staying in a hotel room. So about 3,600 is what we experience here. What we see more so is a change within that demographic and an increase in children in homelessness.
That's
And
sad.
so that is very sad, and we're trying to see how we can meet that need here in a stronger way than what we currently do.
My mother-in-law worked in the public school district. She retired earlier this year, but she would talk to us, tell me about some of the situations that they would see in the public school, you know. And these kids, I mean, some of them know what's going on, but I mean, she worked in an elementary school, so a lot of them did, you know, and whether it be abuse or homelessness or whatever, you know. But they come to school just like it's, you know, normal maybe, you know, or she'd tell me that some of these kids would come in, you know, wearing the same thing all week long, you know, and you could tell they hadn't had a bath or whatnot, you know. How many homeless people can you guys accommodate? I mean, around the Tri-County area.
So in Greenville is our only location that has a shelter campus.
Okay.
And every night we have about 140 folks that live with us.
Wow.
We have a women and children's emergency shelter, and then we have a separate men's emergency shelter. And then Major Kelly alluded to our drug and alcohol rehab program, which is also a residential program. And so there are men that stay with us that are currently enrolled in that.
Okay. Well, at the homeless shelter, is that first come, first serve, or is that every night turnout? You know, like, or so nobody's posting up there for a couple of months or something like that. Is that right?
I would say
homeless
the
shelter?
average stay, if we were to choose an average, is about 6 months.
Oh,
There
wow.
are some that come literally just for a night.
Okay.
And then I know of some that have stayed with us for more than 2 years or so, and that's just because of their particular circumstance.
Yeah.
The one that I'm thinking of is a lady that had early onset Alzheimer's and didn't
Bless your
have
heart.
family resources or financial resources to live
Yeah.
independently, and
Yeah.
it just took us a while to get her into the specific housing that she required.
Wow. Well, a lot of people believe that, homeless people are there because they deserve it, because they were on drugs or they were on alcohol. That's not true, is it, Major? You guys have seen probably every situation there could possibly be out there. Does anything surprise y'all anymore?
No, not really.
Yeah.
We've come across families that have lived in their car,
Yeah.
going from one parking lot to another, trying to find a safe place for them to park overnight. And they've finally gotten to the point where they want to sleep in a bed, or somebody has helped them come to us. And a lot of the people who come to us, it takes an awful lot of them to come actually build up to say, I need help.
Well, there's a certain pride to that,
Yes.
especially when you're used to, again, it's not about drugs or alcohol or
Yeah.
whatnot or gambling or whatever, you lost your house. No, maybe somebody, I was on the phone with a guy today, and he told me that he didn't know if he would have a job come past January. This time of year, people are rebudgeting and restructuring and laying off people. I mean, it's a terrible thing, the week before Christmas to lose your job,
Well, and even,
but that's what's happening. And
even
some people live paycheck to paycheck.
That's right. That's the whole thing. Even those who have a job, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and it could be just one little thing like a child has gotten sick, or the car has broken down. The car is so important to get to work,
Yeah.
and you have an additional expense that you didn't have money for, and it just, the decision is then, do I feed my children or do I pay the rent?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we do throughout the year as well is to try to help people from becoming homeless by giving them assistance in either making a rent payment or a utility payment, or help them with some past bills so that they don't get evicted and become homeless themselves.
That's awesome, man. You guys are awesome. So, well, now the drug and alcohol rehabilitation, that's got to be a program where it's kind of ongoing or something, isn't it? Where people come and stay for how many months at a time?
It's a 6-month program, 180 days, and there is some very strict rules that the men have to follow. It is all men
Okay.
in that program, simply because of the housing for that. And it's a work therapy program, so they each are given a specific job that they're responsible to do, and they get a little bit more freedom as they go through the system, through the program. There's Bible study, there's counseling, there's a workbook that they go through that really helps them go through the 12-step program. We are working on getting, we have some of them already involved in Celebrate Recovery, and we're starting to do Celebrate
Good.
Recovery ourselves on our site. And we have several individuals that work with them. And as they go through the process, as they get closer to the end of their time, then we have caseworkers that will continue to work with them and trying to find a place to go to,
For
trying to
housing,
find a
jobs
job
and stuff.
and that sort of thing. It's exciting to see the men as they graduate and they've learned the tools that they need to stay clean and sober.
Yeah.
The important thing is that they found Jesus.
Exactly.
And they trust Jesus to help them and to overcome that temptation.
Yeah.
I was chatting with one of those graduates just yesterday, and he was talking to me about how him helping somebody else has helped him, and how the two of them together talking about how Christ can give them strength.
Yeah.
And he got a job as an electrician, and he was with it for several weeks, and he decided he had to quit because they were all doing drugs.
Wow.
And he said, I didn't know if I'd be strong enough to quit.
Yeah.
But then he felt like a failure, and we were able to tell him, no, you made the right decision
Yeah.
to stay away from
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
So that's exciting when somebody who's been dependent on drugs can make that decision.
I mean,
in the
that's
midst of that.
huge. I mean, imagine how hard it was for him to get that
Yes.
job. Of course, I'm sure you guys helped, but still, a lot of people are hesitant to hire somebody that's either been in jail or in prison or been, had a history of drug abuse, and then to quit that job because he didn't want to go back to that needle or go back to that pipe. That's huge. Good for him.
It is.
Good for him. So, wow. Well, you probably see a lot of graduates that has gone through the course that has changed their life that really want to come back and help, don't you?
We do. We have an alumni association that we're beginning, so that and a lot of the men come back to the Sunday morning worship, especially on graduation Sunday, as they see their buddies graduate. But they're helping each other, and we've got several of the men who are a part of the Bible study, a part of the other things throughout the week, to help the guys that are coming through the program.
Awesome.
So it's really great to see that.
Well, where's the campus for that located at?
That's 417 Rutherford Street.
That's on Rutherford Street.
Yes.
Then. Okay. And where's the homeless shelter? Is it the same location?
It's on that same campus.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's right behind on Washington. Is that Greenville Rescue behind there? Are they still there in Washington?
Yes.
You've only been here a couple of months.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
They are still
Okay.
there. They're one of our partners.
Yeah, they're great too. We've
They
had
are
them on a
wonderful.
couple of times. So wonderful. Well, Rachel, I didn't ask you. We just how did you get involved with the Salvation Army?
Yes. So I ironically was a voice performance major and thought I just wanted to do that and perform professionally, and kind of had a heart change through that process. And
What changed your heart? What happened? Anything in particular, or just
nothing
God got a hold
monumental other than just knowing that there was something that I didn't need to pursue, and got involved with nonprofit management and stayed mostly in the music and the arts and education. And about 4 or 5 years ago, decided I wanted to shift and work for a mission that was maybe closer to my heart, and I am a Christian, and was kind of looking for something that had similar beliefs.
Yeah.
And kind of did some research on agencies that were good stewards of their funds, and decided that I would take a chance with the Salvation Army, and have been in this position for about 4 years now.
Well, that's a good chance then. So you're still not filling them out, seeing if it's for you then.
That's right.
Yeah, you're here to stay. And now, I'm going to have to look again. The Community Relations and Development Director, we were talking before the program, and y'all kind of oversee 26,000 people in the 3 counties here.
So we serve about 26,000 people.
Wow.
Now we are supported by all of the residents within those 3 counties, which is obviously more than 26,000 people. But that's what all of our resources go towards, is whether that be the shelter or our service centers. We also have a Boys and Girls Club. Very few know that we actually operate the Boys and Girls Club in Greenville.
See, I don't think I knew that. Wow.
So kind of doing that preventative care, as Major Kelly mentioned, is doing that investment in our youth, so that we hopefully don't see them in a position of needing our shelter, perhaps, or those types of services.
Well, talk to us about the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, so it's an after-school program, as well as a summer day camp, and we serve about 175 at-risk youth from about 5 years of age to 14, 15.
Wow.
Some come back to us as graduates per se, but they still want to stay connected, so we have them help us be tutors or mentors, or just kind of a part of the programs we provide.
Wow.
So.
Tell us a story, since you've worked with children. Tell us a story about a child that might stick out in your mind. Of course, you don't have to give their name or age or anything. Just tell us something that really tugged on your heart, and you were able to help and bless.
Well, I think what is wonderful is when we can see us investing in a youth, but it also benefits the family, and then maybe we can also help the family. Tracing it from Angel Tree Program, which is our large Christmas assistance program, we help about 1,700 Greenville families in providing Christmas. And then seeing them maybe also knowing they're a part of a Boys and Girls Club, or perhaps even in our shelter, having children on the shelter campus that get picked up just like they were any other normal child, to use your words, and going to a school in Greenville County school system, and picked up by the bus and go to the Boys and Girls Club after school and come back to a shelter. So.
Yeah. I like what you said about how when you benefit the child, you benefit the family. In the summer, we support a mission in Bulgaria It was in Eastern Europe, and we do a vacation Bible school there. And it's like, we call it summer camp because it's 7 hours a day. We serve 2 meals, and we'll see about 1,000 kids throughout the summer, poor kids in Bulgaria. And what we found is so neat. A lot of Muslims in the area. We're right not far from the Turkish border, the northern Turkish border, and what we found is when these kids they get saved and they're doing their arts and crafts of Jesus on the cross or whatever, Jesus with children, whatever arts and crafts with Christian theme to it, we'll go visit them when they're home. It might be a Muslim home, but they're going to hang that on the refrigerator if they got one, or something. And now we're seeing, of course, that's through some churches over there, local churches, and we're seeing these families come to Jesus through that child. And I think that's just huge.
That is huge.
That's huge, yeah. And so through the child, you get the family. So pretty neat. But we're going to have a song in just a few seconds or a few minutes. I also like something you say. I like a lot of things you guys are saying. Yeah. Again, I told you guys I was excited to have y'all. Can you tell? But you said y'all are using the Celebrate Recovery format. I was going to ask if y'all are doing AA or Celebrate Recovery, and I believe of course, AA is great too. I mean, it does a lot of good stuff. But Celebrate Recovery is huge to me. I mean, tell the folks at home how that might differ than a secular recovery program.
Well, the Celebrate Recovery program takes the 12 steps and connects it with biblical principles as well. We haven't started using it yet. We're just training to do that, so we're hoping to start it in February.
Yeah.
But I've had some experience with it, and it is taking the biblical points and taking the 12 steps and lining them up with biblical Bible verses. It emphasizes the importance of people sharing their testimonies, of how they dealt with the different steps of getting to sobriety and being clean. And it's along the same sort of line as AA, but they're saying specifically that it's Jesus who's the answer,
Exactly,
not a higher power.
Exactly.
That's right.
And that's important because Jesus. I mean, what other name is there?
That's right.
Given before man? It's huge. My wife's uncle was in a Celebrate Recovery as a teacher, I guess, or I don't know what you call it. Anyway, he ran it at our church at the time. He did it for 3 or 4 years or something. And he was alcoholic, drug addict, 35 years ago or something when he was a kid, so I'd got to go a couple of times to visit. And then I had a couple of friends that was in AA. And so I went just to support them, and the difference is night and day to me.
It is.
You could tell that AA, they were there for the nasty coffee, At Celebrate Recovery, they were there for Jesus,
yes.
And for themselves, and to really get themselves clean. And it was just really neat to see apples to apples there, So good for you guys for starting that.
Thank you.
So that's awesome. Let's take a break for a song. When we come back, we're going to wrap up with the Salvation Army. I'm going to have them tell you, the viewers again, how you can get involved, and if they got anything major coming up for Christmas. I think you guys are doing a lot right now, but we're going to find out again what's happening right now. Crown of Thorns is standing by to sing "What a Glorious Night."
The shepherds came to see the baby, stood by his mother's side. Here lay the Savior inside a manger. Oh, what a glorious night. Oh, what a glorious night. I hear the angels singing, hallelujah, let the earth receive her King. I know that love has come. Sing it out. Jesus Christ is born. Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds wondered, they couldn't hide it, told everyone inside. All were amazed when they heard how God came down on this glorious night. God came down on this glorious night. I hear the angels singing, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is born. Jesus Christ is born. Glorious, glorious, what a glorious night. Glorious, glorious, what a glorious night. I hear the angels singing, hallelujah, let the earth receive her King. I know that love has come. Sing it out, Jesus Christ is born. I hear the angels singing, hallelujah, let the earth receive her King. I know that love has come. Sing it out, Jesus Christ is born. Jesus Christ is born. All is calm now, all is quiet. A star shines in the sky. Below in Bethlehem, the King is sleeping. Oh, what a glorious night. Oh, what a glorious night.
All righty, Crowd of Thorns, doing a wonderful job. And Hannah and Rick and Sabrina are going to join us here in a little bit. But we're going to wrap up this hour with the Salvation Army. And everybody knows the kettlebells. But Rachel, you mentioned something earlier that I'm not really familiar with, something about a tree. Help me out
Yes.
here. Yeah.
We call it our Angel Tree
Angel
program.
Tree, yeah.
It is a trademarked Salvation Army program started in 1979. I think you discovered that a little earlier.
Wow.
And it's basically our big Christmas assistance program where families come to us and we go through their finances and kind of talk about why we're in this situation of needing some additional help at Christmas time. And if all goes well in that appointment, then we get their families registered to receive some Christmas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this isn't giving them a fish, it's teaching them to fish.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we do require some classes at any of the libraries in Greenville County, whether
Good.
it be in budgeting or how to balance your checkbook. And yes, so it's certainly making sure that they have some skin in the game and taking some ownership in getting the additional Christmas assistance.
What kind of situations are you seeing? Just, not paying attention to finances, or there's some real needs out there that's like, like we talked about earlier, I lost my car, my kid got sick, stuff like that?
Sure.
Or,
It's mostly real need, a spiral effect, where, either a medical emergency and didn't have the savings in place to be able to accommodate for that, a vehicle breaking down, a layoff at work, a family becoming divorced, and all of a sudden it's a single parent on a single income. And so it's a variety of that.
I saw the statistics not long ago. I can't remember the actual number of paycheck to paycheck families. It was, I know, over 50%, but I think it was a good bit over 50%.
I'm thinking that it is, yes.
It was like, wow. And you never think that, and I've been there, by the grace of God, I hope not to be, but I've been there before, went there for years, and that's not fun. And it's that easy. You miss that payment, and who knows what that means. Repo man don't care.
That's right.
Or the bank. There's a lot of good bankers out there, but they answer to shareholders. They're going to take somebody's house. That's so sad. So that's the big thing that's going on right now at the Salvation Army.
Yes, I would say Angel Tree, and then of course Red Kettle Campaign.
Yeah,
That's right.
And everybody can help with the Red Kettle
Absolutely.
campaign. That's for sure. So, and if you guys don't take plastic yet, all right? But are you working on that? I guess on the website,
We do on the website,
Okay.
yes. But at the kettle, we've got 25 locations around Greenville where you can take your smartphone and give, or you could always
That's
text
awesome.
kettles to 41444 and give that way too.
All right, Kettles 41444.
Right.
Is that right?
That
Yes,
is.
Cool.
that's it.
That's awesome. Well, I didn't know that because I don't carry cash, and not having cash, I usually don't have change either. And so sometimes, I
Yeah.
feel so awful, But I'll make it up for having you guys on. That's what I tell myself.
There you
I'll
go.
have them on. I'll make up. But so do they advertise, or do you have to ask them if they're at one of those locations that takes the your smartphone?
It's right there on the
on the
sign.
sign.
It'll say
so
it
you
then.
can just look
Okay.
for it, and then all of our signs have the text to give
Okay.
option, just to
And
remind
on
you
that.
what word to text.
Awesome. And of course, the website, donate all year long,
Yes.
and get involved all year long.
Yes.
That's massive. So, what's the new year hold for Salvation Army?
We are looking at possibly starting a capital campaign in the near future to make some improvements on the property at 417 Rutherford, because the buildings there are well used, and
Again, I remember my father taking me over there. I think I was telling you this during the show, and I forget who the major was when I was just a kid, and we went over there. They were always close, and I said, he had a messy office. I have a messy office. But that building's been there for a while. I mean, since I was a kid, for sure. So you guys need that for sure.
Yeah, we've
So-
owned that particular property since 1920, I believe.
I didn't
And
know it's
so,
that long.
yes,
Wow.
so a fair amount of deferred maintenance that
Yeah.
needs to be addressed.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, so.
Awesome. Well, what else does the viewers need to know about the Salvation Army that I've missed?
Well, there's other things that we do throughout the year as well. This past year we had the opportunity to help with the disaster services after Hurricane Dorian, and we're always standing ready to do that whenever a disaster comes, whether it's a big disaster or a small disaster. For our residents, it's been a family disaster that we're helping them
Yeah.
with, but sometimes it's a
So
a
our
major
local
disaster.
Salvation Army is getting outside of our 3 little counties then and going helping all over the place.
Yes,
then.
we
That's
operate
awesome.
a disaster mobile unit here in Greenville, and we get deployed every once in a while to go. With this past year, we went up to the Outer Banks to serve folks there.
Wow. And I bet you people, at my last church, we had guys, and I never did it because I'm not handy with hammers and nails and stuff, but they would volunteer to go, and it mostly was, mudslides or hurricanes around the East Coast, definitely hurricanes, and so people can get volunteering and getting involved in that, right?
Absolutely.
Help build some homes or rebuild some homes.
So we're going to do a training session in February or March to get people ready to be able to serve on those canteens.
Yeah.
And so there's another way people can volunteer to help.
That's awesome. Well, if somebody wants to get involved, donate, whatever, best place is the website, is that right?
SalvationArmyGreenville.org.
Excellent. Now add that greenville.org in there because we want to go to the local one here again in the Greenville, Oconee, and Pickens counties.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
Excellent. Well, now we mentioned real quick how many homeless that we serve here in Greenville. 140, was that right? Yeah, beds for 140. Are they just from Greenville, or do you have people coming in from Oconee and coming in from Pickens counties?
We do have some referrals from Oconee and Pickens counties, the people that are coming to them asking for assistance. Sometimes they're able to put people up in a hotel in their area overnight for a couple of nights. But for the longer stay, they may send them to us. Our Pickens County unit is looking at the possibility of building a shelter in Easley, but that's going to take quite a venture to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But they're building their advisory council so that they can start taking on some of those fundraising opportunities that they may need to do to make that possible there.
Excellent. Well, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but give and volunteer. I run a small nonprofit here at Dub Broadcasting. I understand donations and volunteering, how important it is. And just like Rachel said, one of the things that drew you to the Salvation Army was the use of funds and the proper use of funds. And I've always heard that from you guys at every which level, and I think that's something to be admired, and it's something that should be applauded, to be honest, So give to the Salvation Army. And again, we used to do the Appalachian Missions Project. We're not this year. We may next year. But if you come by here, I'm going to refer to give clothes or toys or whatever. I'm going to refer you to the Salvation Army out there on Rutherford Street. Is that right?
Thank you very much.
So, awesome. So, real quick before, are we going to a break or is this the end of the program or first hour? We're going to a break. Okay. They're just showing me time cues and I don't know what's going on, so I'm so excited. Prayer partners are still here to take your calls. So go to the phones. Come on up here, Dagan. Sorry, I want to read this praise report here. Let's see. A month ago, a doctor told this lady that she wouldn't be able to walk. She called in for prayer. And it ain't because she called in for prayer and somebody prayed for her and that's how it works. No, Jesus healed her. Amen. And now her knees are healed. And that's Beatrice. So that is awesome. Amen. That we got that praise report tonight. So keep going to the phones, 244-1616. We might be gone during the break, but our prayer partners are here. I want to thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Rachel. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you guys. And we'll be right back after the break.